Well, hello my friends. Alpha Turtle here, the Rebel Turner. And today we're going to do a follow-up of the star and how to incorporate it into the bottom of a bowl. Now this is not going to be a segmented bowl, it's going to be maybe a natural edge bowl with an inlaid star in the center. So let's get started and go for it. The star, basically, I put it up on my spur drive, which is still on the lathe. I put it up in my spur drive smack center and smack center on my live center of the intersecting star, and I just cleaned up the outside edge and did a little bit on the face. I did not need to do anything on the face, but because I'm going to be recessing this from the bottom up, I wanted this to be fairly true. Not sanded or anything, just fairly true, and I wanted to see if there were any noticeable blemishes or defects that I would want to address. But you can see that this star, all the way through, the seams are really tight. So let's get started. And with this, I'm going to get started with what I got left over from that sweet gum. This is the cutoff that I did from the box that I gave my grandson, the R2D2, and I made one pedestal bowl that was left from the very bottom of it. And this one, well, this will be somewhat of a natural edge bowl coming up, and I'm gonna take most of this out. This will be the bottom. I'm going to start working the bottom and create a mortise. Not only the mortise will be for my chuck, my 100mm chuck, because of the size of the star, but it will also be the mortise to receive the star. When it's all said and done and I flip it over, then I will go and expose the star. Maybe not in that exact order, but I will see how it pans out as I'm going through the steps. And that's what it's all about. It's making the changes you see fit that need to be done in order for you to complete the job in the best and safest manner. Don't get yourself stuck in a situation that you say something and then you stay persistent because you said it, that's therefore how you have to proceed it. You proceed it in the way that it's safe, and that's going to work for you. And seeing that I let a lot of my work develop as I'm turning it, then that's how I base my decisions. Now, I would take this into the bandsaw, and I actually attempted, but because it's fairly small and it's round and it doesn't have a true side, I actually had a catch and the thing flipped up on me and bent my blade. So rather than take that chance, I'd much rather take my chances on the lathe. You know, I've said this before, and I don't know if it's necessarily true, or some of you, if you agree with me or not, but I feel safer doing things on the lathe than I do sometimes with a simple tool like a bandsaw or something like that. And the reason why I say that, and I say that with a reason, is because on the lathe I feel that I'm in control of what I'm doing as far as cuts, speed, everything else. On the bandsaw or anything else, I don't feel I have that full control. Now this is top heavy until I get a good amount of this out of the way. So let me get my tool rest in a way that I'm going to be able to start feathering this in. And as soon as I do that, then this whole thing, I'll be able to speed it up then. And this whole thing will be so much easier to manage. The back of it, I'm concentrating on that as well, keeping it somewhat fairly true so I don't waste much of this material. So I'm going to slow this down to about 500 RPM or so, and I'll check it. And that's 530 RPMs. I think I can work with that. I just want to give this a quick over to the side cut. Okay, I barely got enough here to grip that, so I'm going to go just a little bit deeper, and I'm going to flip this over twice. And the reason why I'm going to have to flip this over twice is because I want to make a tenon back here so I can make a more here. While I'm in between centers, there's no way for me to be able to loosen that up to come up with a mortise. So that is a temporary tenon right now. And I'm going to put my 100mm jaws. Okay, so this was an additional step that I had to do for this particular case because I want to make an indent for the star itself. I might remove the bark all the way on this one because I'm not so sure the mixture will be the best mix of having a natural edge along with a refined star like that on the bottom. But regardless where it's going to go, it's going to start off this way, and then I will make that decision whether if I like it or not. And that's why I keep saying, you know, never commit to something. In other words, if I remove the bark right now, well then that's it. That's all it can be is a bowl without the bark. So if I let it pan out and play, then I can see what it is that I want out of this piece. And it might very well be completely round all the way across, which will be an amazing piece because of the spalting. So it's time to go in here, take this away, and make the tenon to the correct size. All I need glue is on the outside edge because the rest of this will disappear. Now, I do have some checking going on this, which I wish it wasn't there for this particular piece. Most of the time, I don't mind it, but seeing that this is a refined piece, then I do. But there it is. That should grip on my jaws, and I should be able to do everything that I need to with this the way it is. I'm gonna throw it up from the bottom, although it looks pretty darn good, and concave the bottom slightly. Okay, I'm going to bring this up a little further to see what I'm going to do. Okay, going to finish this off with Yorkshire grit. Now, I'm seeing a line in here that I'm not liking too much. The star itself is tight. I have to actually shape this up so it doesn't make a separation between the two, and incorporate it one into the other before I apply that. But I also have to lock that up in my jaw, so I have to be careful with that to leave the correct tenon in there. Okay, so now it's as one piece and not separated in any way. That's much better. All I'm interested is on the very bottom. Yeah, I might, like I said, take off the natural edge from this. As it is, I already came up to the bark on this side. So I'm actually going to do that. I'm just going to buff this up and reshape this bottom. I don't like when I interrupt with the bark or I lose part of it. Not in the sense that it flew away, I just cut too wide into that. So I'll reshape this, seeing the bowl is going to end up a lot smaller towards the top. I think that gives me a nice finish on that star. Time to go in here and shape this up. But because this is so narrow over here, I have to literally take it down from all the way down here to shape it up. I still got a little bit, yep. Still got a little bit on two sides. Because I don't like the size of the foot to the size of the bowl. I'm actually going to keep just the center of the star, bring this all the way down to a small foot on this. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to use these big jaws, because I reduced the size of the tenon significantly. So, go back to my other jaws. If I was going to keep the whole piece, then the jaws that I had would have been fine, because the base could have been a larger size. But reducing it down to this size, there's no way I could have kept that. Now, I can't be too aggressive with this, because I don't want to damage already the finish that I got on there. So, I'll go a little easier than I normally do when I'm rough turning. I know that's going to put a couple of indents in there, but I should be able to address that. Well, I'm back. Yesterday I started turning this and had to stop it a little bit premature because the glue hadn't dried up completely and I was going to run into a problem if I was to keep going. So I stopped it. Now it's nice and dry, it's not going to shift on me, and I can finish this off. Looking at it with a different light today, I can see that even though I am taken from the outside over here, I have a little bit of room to expose the whole star, even though it doesn't look bad, but the points aren't quite visible. So I'm going to screw that up a little bit, sand this up one more time, and apply a finish to it. I want to be careful not to overdo it in here because I do have very little on here. This whole piece is about 1/8 of an inch thick. Okay, but I won't dare go any further than that. Just gonna sand it and finish it. Applying some Yorkshire grit and final sand it with that. Well, didn't take me long to finish it up, but here it is. It's a piece of sweet gum that was left over from the R2D2 project, and the star, the smaller of the stars that I had made up yesterday, which is ePay Center and maple on the surrounding area. Well, I think it looks pretty nice. And the bottom, you can see that the star starts coming up the sides of the bulb, and yet it's still embedded into the wood. So this is one method of doing stars. Next one, I'm going to do something a little bit different from this to show you different options on even how to make a star. You know, I think I came up with something that might be a little bit easier than this one, but it adds a step to it, but easier. So here it is, finished piece. I hope you like it. Don't forget, give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Speaking of subscribers, unbelievable. Unbelievable. I never thought this would happen to me. Never. Since I started YouTube, I didn't start thinking I was going to be well known or anything like that for my wood turning, other than the ability to share with some friends or family members that might want to see what I created all the way across the country. And over 10,000 subscribers. And it's the response, your comments have been unbelievable. I also want to apologize. Sometimes it takes me a little while before I can literally sit down in front of the computer and respond to all your comments. And I try to respond, but sometimes it just takes a little while. So I apologize for that. You know, some people do this for a living, and nothing that I would like more. But my pieces generally end up inside my house on a display, or my daughters take them as their prized possessions from their dad. And very, very rarely I'll go to an art craft show and make a little bit of money to put into a couple of tools or something like that. That's where it goes. Probably don't even sell enough to cover what I put into my tools, and I don't buy a lot of tools. I don't know how some people do with buying everything that becomes available to them. I don't envy them. I like what I got, and I like being resourceful and figuring out ways to do it and how to make my own if I need to. And I'm going to be right up front on this. It's not that I can't afford to buy a tool. At least not now. When I first started, yeah, it was a time. I was going through a little bit of a tough time, but you know, I'd be okay. Even if I wanted to invest into a lathe right now, I could. But I would miss everything that I've done to my lathe. I would miss my customizing riser blocks, the methods I had to use to get over any obstacles or any hurdles that were in the way. And to me, that's part of the fun of all of this. Not turning, you know, don't get me wrong, I would love to have a Cadillac or a lathe. You know, I mean, every time I see a robust, I drool. Why? Because I know it's a well-designed lathe and has all the features that somebody could possibly want. But you know, you don't have to go with that. It's one of those things that you buy because you only buy what's best. Not because it's the only thing that can do the job. Because even $100 lathe or $200 lathe that you find in a yard sale or in Habitat for Humanity, like I started, or Craigslist, is going to get you started. It's going to nip you. It's going to get you hooked on this beautiful hobby. And then from there, as you feel the need or the urge to bring yourself up to whatever standard you need to be in, you can go out and buy a one-way or buy the or buy the robust or any one of the many beautiful lathes, even Laguna, one-way, you name it. There's so many manufacturers out there that make great lathes, and there's those older lathes that have been forgotten that are great quality workmanship on their lathes, like I use, that will do. And if you're a little bit of a handy person, a hands-on, I'm assuming if you're doing wood turning, you have a little bit of ability under your belt. But if you have a little bit of troubleshooting and figuring out things, you know, you're not limited because you buy a lathe that you have to jump belts. I mean, that's what I had to do, but I upgraded, to a VFD drive, making it electronic. I upgraded the riser blocks, making it a 17-inch lathe, almost 18 inches on the bedway. If it's a platter, I can get over that between the gap, but you know, I still have to venture out into the tail end of this. I know I got a faceplate that will attach over there, and of course so will my chucks because they're reversible. And I have to do something back there. One day I'll make a stand or part of the lathe, which I'm more partial to go into rather than a stand. I don't like portable things. It either belongs there or it doesn't belong there. That's how I look at things. So I'll be venturing out and making a rig to the back of the lathe and try something a little bit bigger. I'm still limited on how big because there's the weight factor. You know, you get a quality lathe that weighs over 500-600 pounds. You know, you get these older lathes on a metal table like this, it probably weighs under 300 pounds. So, you know, there's that big weight difference, unless you get the really old machines that weigh 700 pounds. They were solid horses. And I wish I had one of those. So anyway, back to this. Thanks again. I know I rambled way too much. Take care. We'll see you very soon with probably another segmented mix. And hopefully I will have no check marks like I got on this one. That's the only disappointment that I have, is these little checks that I got going through here. But I knew they were there prior to starting the project, so I knew what I was going to be dealing with. Thanks again.